Welcome to Viewpoint on Ukraine today. On the programme, we're going to be discussing Ukraine's economy. Over 6 weeks after Aivaras Abramovichus, Ukraine's Lithuanian-born cabinet minister, vowed to quit, we're going to be finding out the latest situation, plus what recent work has been done to improve the business climate as a whole. Joining us to discuss this and more is Yulia Klymenko, Ukraine's Deputy Economy Minister. Ms. Klymenko, thank you for coming on the show today.
Hello, thank you for the invitation.
So I wanted to ask you, first of all, about the latest situation in the Economy Ministry. I mean, you have one of the toughest jobs in the state, I would imagine. So what's it like working after this resignation? How's it been?
Actually, we're still working because our resignations did not accept it, was not accepted. That's why we are still on our places. The same with our minister, Aivaras Abramovichus, who's still working because Rada has to vote for his resignation. I think this is not the case this week and probably next week. So, and we're also waiting for appointment of a new minister and maybe for deputy ministers to smoothly transmit all our achievements, reforms, and proceed with the reforms, not stopping it.
So you still have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
Yeah. And in terms of investor confidence, when people are thinking about investing in Ukraine, often there's still this negative aspect to it. For example, there's a lot of offshore accounts. You have a lot of I don't know, within businessmen themselves, there's a lot of in-trading, that sort of thing, that's still going on. So is that changing, do you think?
I think it's not about offshore accounts or any kind of so to say...
vested interests, almost.
Investment interest. I think investors has two concerns about Ukraine. First, it's aggression, war aggression that we have on 5% of our territory. Yes, it's only 5%, but still we have Russian aggression in Donetsk, Lugansk, and annexation of Crimea, which is for some investors scaring, and this is understandable. Also, we have political, so to say, uncertainty. We have to have a full, heavily working cabinet, and also parliament who is also working, toughly, and that's why I think this is the main concerns of the investors. I think, as a person from private sector, you can deal with all rules inside the country, but you cannot overcome, such factors as aggressions and political uncertainty. I think as soon as we will have stable situation, we will see first investors, maybe risky, but coming to Ukraine.
Yeah. And there's a lot of speculation that Natalia Yuresko might become Ukraine's next prime minister, although that's maybe in doubt now. Do you think that would change things in the economy ministry if, in theory, she did move to that post?
Yes, I think so. So Yuresko probably will be one of the best prime minister, and we're happy to work with Natalia and proceed with all reforms. So probably, I don't know, it's still speculations. Nobody knows who will be the prime minister, or maybe Yatsenyuk will stay, but still we're happy to work with Natalka, and I don't know, maybe even Aivaras Abramovichus will change his mind, but we'll see. We would like to see the next cabinet and next, so to say, rules for next period of in political life and in the cabinet.
And you have this leadership with Yatsenyuk at the moment in the economy ministry. Do you feel under pressure, really? Are there any external pressures at all?
No, we don't have any pressure. I can tell you this is all speculations. We don't have any pressure. We are working and we are proceeding, but we are not the only one in the system. We have to have a working cabinet and the same for parliament. So we are, we can do inside a little because most of the changes and reforms depending on changes in the legislation, which you need to facilitate through cabinet and through Rada. But unfortunately, it's not. We are not able to facilitate it.
Yeah. So you could just only influence this as well.
We can influence, we can probably influence through civil society, explaining, but, you know, it should be a working system, as I said. You cannot just fight for each and every draft law, you know, for many months. Otherwise, reform will be very slow.
Yeah, that's true. And also, there's a lot of other pressure. For example, the budgets as well have been cut for 2016.
Yes.
And a lot of the state bodies are being slimmed down. And this is part of the problem in Ukraine. You have a lot of bureaucracy, and this is not the same just in Ukraine, but for foreign investors as well. So how is that affecting your work? Because I think the Economy Ministry also vowed to slim down as well. So will that hamper the work that you're trying to do?
You know, the civil service, it's about bureaucracy in each and every country in the world. But the problem of the bureaucracy in Ukraine, that it's too heavy, and we have over-regulated legislation, the same as over-regulated procedures inside the government and inside for business and investors. So sure, this is the priority number one for Ministry of Economy, to deregulate as much as we can for business and attract investors and etc. But we need also, as I said, it's mostly going through the draft laws, and that's why we need support in Rada. Otherwise, we cannot change it.
Yeah, and do you think that you have the support in the Rada?
We have support. We don't feel unsupport, I would say.
There are people there who see
there
what
are
you're
people
doing.
we are supporting. We are closely working with parliament members. The problem of the effective work of the parliament, you know, you cannot, you know, just fighting for half a day and then start adopting economic legislation. So it should be some kind of more effective and more tough work, I would say.
I see. And Ms. Klymenko, I wanted to talk about doing business in Ukraine as well. And last year, Ukraine rose to 83rd place. So there's up 4 points in the World Bank's ratings. And what are your expectations for the future? Do you think that what sort of work needs to be done?
Actually, we developed a very clear and exact plan, concrete plan in autumn, and approved it in December in the cabinet 2015. What we have to do so to say, to increase in rating doing business 2017. It's a very concrete 43 steps. Out of 23 to be done by May 31st, 2016.
Are you on course for that, do you think?
We already developed all draft laws needed for this rating and to be on top 50, because if we will do these 23 steps, we will be in top 50 of doing business rating, and most of these draft laws are in the parliament. And we are asking, not stopping asking parliament members to work and to vote for these draft laws. Otherwise, we will stay, you know, again on probably top 80 or top, I don't know, 90.
So you'll stay
Nobody knows, because it's a very, you know, other countries also developing. You cannot predict how it will be.
Of course, and Georgia had the same as well in the past decade as well.
So we have a clear plan. We've done our homework for 90%, I would say, inside the ministry and cabinet. So now the floor on the parliament side.
Yeah, and it seems to me that a lot of your efforts that you put in are now in the parliament, as you say. And there seems to be a very slow process as well. And the confidence in the parliament often changes because a lot of the politicians have been there for a long time. Although you do have some new faces, a lot of them still have their interests, and maybe they don't want to see Ukraine actually improve on the international scene. Do you think that that's the case?
No, I don't think this is the case.
No?
Most of these people in parliament and in cabinet, it's you know, reasonable and realistic people. So they clearly understand they are living in this country, they have assets in this country, and they have these assets at least should preserve its values. So no, I don't think maybe some people, you know, has some, you know, spice plans, but this is not about this. Most of the people clearly understand what we need to do genuine investment and economy. The problem, of confidence and trust between parliament, cabinet, society, and this is on a zero level at this point of time. So it should be somehow reloaded, and the trust should and confidence should come back. Then the voting will be much more and the work much more productive. You can probably I remember it in 2015 and earlier 2015 in January and in spring. It was a really good work when it was fast, effective, etc. So it was still after the new cabinet appointed, and that's why we clearly saw that it's they can work.
So you can work.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Ms. Klymenko, thank you very much for coming on Viewpoint, and it was really interesting to talk to you, and best of luck with all your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was Yulia Klymenko, Ukraine's Deputy Economy Minister. You've been watching Viewpoint on Ukraine Today. Now, back to the news.